Hi everyone. So I'm still waiting for work to get back to me on a new opportunity. And what I've done in the meantime, I've reached out to the African leaders. It was suggested to me by Officer Summers, why don't I go back to England? So I've been applying for jobs in England. Unfortunately, nothing has worked out for me there. So what I'm doing now, I'm reaching out to the African leaders, many of whom have been educated in Britain and the United States, and I'm trying to build partnerships with them. And hopefully I can get some speaking engagements going or some leadership development. We do have good initiatives that have been set up from the United States that are building partnerships with the African leaders, like Forbes Under 30. And we have a lot of different events going on that have nothing to do with Canada, unfortunately. Wits was very, very hurt by what this country did to me. And when I set up my initiative to try to bring exchange students in through the nursing programs with Waterloo University, and they stalled, and the lawyers got involved and nothing happened. So some of it is jealousy because companies are trying to do what I did and they were not able to do it. Some of it is that I'm a visible minority, and the WITS leaders told me that when we set this up. They said, you're going to get backlash and it's not easy, but we've got the partnerships in place with Ryerson University and we will support you as best we can. So, you don't expect it to be as hard as it turns out to be. But I think the thing is, with maturity, you have to accept the loss and look at what good came out of it. And the good that came out of it is, for me, I did have successful events. I had events that I set up at Goodman's. I had events that I helped to coordinate with EY for Africa Rising, and that's Ernest Young here in Toronto. And also I got to go to Waterloo. I met Jean Chrétien and I met some of the other senior leaders. So I have those wins to celebrate. And the win for WITS is that they took everything away from Canada because it was too much. So they are running everything out of New York now. And obviously, if I get an opportunity where Peter Maher or WITS can help me to set up something working in America, obviously I'll go. But I don't waste my time. After a year or so, I stopped contacting University of Waterloo, asking, is there any feedback, any development? I just left it. And then once WITS decided to just remove everything from here, I just accepted that because they don't want me to also put myself at risk. It's bad enough when you don't get the support that you need. So that's, the positives that came out of it for me is that we did have successful events. We did get some things done. We did create some momentum. I got to meet some of the students, and now things are running successfully from America. They are still having events where they are coming in. They're going to Vancouver, they're going to Seattle. If they do come to Toronto, hopefully I'll get to meet them. But, for me, being able to spearhead that and lead it and take it and run with it, it's a big celebration. It was for us, and I know when I went home, people were very proud of me. And they don't want Christine and Miller Thompson and Credit Suisse interfering in what I'm doing because it's got nothing to do with them. It's my initiative, and it's something that I did, and I didn't have the support to do it here. Whatever I did on my own. My family were not involved in it. I didn't keep them informed on anything. I did everything on my own. So it's a big accomplishment, and I'm proud to do it for WITS. And I think it speaks to a lot of Canada about the racism, the intolerance. Justin Trudeau saying that he supports free speech. So why can't we post news on Facebook? Why is it when you try to post articles and you look at the websites, you look at the pages for all the news reporting, they can't put anything on Facebook. So there's no free speech. It doesn't matter what he says. There's no free speech. He says one thing and he does something else. And it's a very, it's a fearful environment that he's created, because the MPs are also now, they don't want to meet people face to face. They want to do online meetings like we had in COVID. So we'll see how it all turns out. And the Liberals want to blame the Conservatives, but who's been in power for the last 9 years? Not the Conservatives. The leaders have been the Liberals. And it's the Liberals who should have supported what Wits was doing here. And U of T never used to support our work and what we were doing. U of T has a racist history. That's why even today, when there's a black person that accomplishes something, or an Indian, they'll make sure that they celebrate it. Because Fazila even asked me, Fazila is who I took over from. She said to me, Belinda, you writing a speech for Nelson Mandela's funeral for them, because I couldn't go. I said to her, yeah, they asked me, they wanted me to come, and I can't go because I'm working. So she's like, you don't know the history between Wits and U of T. I said to her, well, Fazila, I have to start somewhere. I mean, it's really hard here to get anything going. So I wrote the speech and I sent it, I emailed it to them, and they read it out when they had the commemoration. But that's how it is here. And even with Robert Mugabe, people remember all the bad things he did. But he was not an idiot. He was an educated man. And he was speaking on climate change. He was speaking on giving the African leaders a seat at the table for the UN. He spoke on a lot of things that they are only starting to do now. We had the best education system. Our infrastructure was maintained. We had good farming in the country. All our minerals, our copper, our diamonds, our deposits, the stones, the serpentine stones and all that all the rich people use in their houses, that's from our countries. So as Zimbabweans, we have a lot to be proud of. And there's no respect for your time here. They'll set up meetings with you. If something else comes up, they'll reschedule. Oh, sorry, I can't keep the meeting. I just tell them, forget it. If you need me, let me know. Because I'm not willing to take it anymore. I had one interview with Scotiabank, and it was to support one of the executive. She left me hanging for 15 minutes. I said, forget it. I told them I'm not interested in working with her again. Her name was Gina. So I'm not interested in working with her again. If you get another opportunity in something else, you can let me know. Because they have to also treat us with respect. They want to be treated with respect, then treat us with respect. Because we're also educated, we're also hardworking people. Our time is also valuable and important. So these are the things we have to learn. And one of the women that mentored me when I used to go to the downtown meetings, she said to me, when you have interviews or you have meetings with people, when you meet like for coffee or for a beer or something, and you wait, she said, give them 5 minutes. If they don't come after 5 minutes, then you just leave. She said, don't sit there and wait for them. They should at least have the courtesy in today's day and age to call you and say, I can't come, something came up. So these are the things that we have to learn, and we have to have the maturity to accept that we're in a different culture. But there are some things that are similar. It doesn't matter whether you work in England or America or Canada, it doesn't matter. There are certain things that you do to treat somebody with respect. And I was not treated with the respect I deserve. So it hurt me. It hurt me very, very badly. And even with the family not including me at family gatherings, with my uncle telling my sister, you people leave her and you come. They didn't consider me. It hurt me. But I was like, okay, you know what? We've all got our own lives. We've all got our own journeys. I can't be bothered to keep asking people, please include me, please invite me, what about me? If they're not interested, they're not interested. You just have to get to that point where you detach. And if an opportunity comes up for me to use my leadership development skills, working with the African leaders, working with the new initiatives that Wits is setting up from New York, I would embrace those opportunities and take them. Because with teleperformance, they know that I'm looking for something better, better pay, better opportunities. And they know that people are not staying. Like with me, I've stayed there for 5 years. I can't get anything else. I've been applying internally. And people are leaving. They're going into caregiver work. They're going into other things. So, you know, for me, I think having that support from Wits, with them not supporting Christine, and telling her directly in front of me, she will stand her ground. You can't treat her that way. That meant a lot to me. The calls were made in South Africa in front of me so that I knew that I had the support of Wits University. So I'm still carrying on. I'm still, you know, I'm available. I'm still building relationships with organizations. And I've met other people from EY, not the people that I met before that I was introduced to, but I've met new women who are going to include me at events and invite me out, so it's good. And the more I can go out and meet people, the better it is for me. I've met so many new associates at our church who have been supportive of me in my journey, and they know what the Muslim community in Canada has done to me. And some of them are very outspoken. They're like, Belinda, they are our enemies. They're like, we don't even hide it. They're like, we are praying for you and you stand strong in your faith. And I mean, when the associates told me that, I was very, very encouraged, because it's very hard for me to be broke, to have not have money of my own, to not be able to afford to buy my own place after all these years, and to be the first one who went to university. And my brother tries to encourage me. He says, no, you know, you play the piano and you sing and you went to university, and it inspires the children, my nieces. And I don't show him, but sometimes I sit and I cry. I just sit and I cry because of how people have hurt me in this country. And it wasn't deserved. I didn't deserve any of it. Even now, sitting waiting at home for teleperformance to find me another job, it wasn't my fault that the ID wasn't working. It's their job to set it up so that before you get to the office, everything is in place. Your computer's supposed to be set up, your ID, everything, before you arrive. Not for you to go there, do the training, mentor others, have others there that you're helping, sharing your knowledge with, and then they tell you, oh no, we couldn't fix it. So I understand things happen, but it's too much. And I told the family also, I told my mother also, I said, I sponsored you, I brought you to Canada. How do you think I feel? And even when I used to tell my mom, when my uncle used to tell her, have a sweet, have a chocolate. The doctors in Zimbabwe told her, you have to cut out alcohol and sweets and chocolates completely, Mrs. Fernandez. And then my uncle used to get upset asking me, who do you think you are? I said to him, who do you think you are? I said, when she goes blind and when she loses all her teeth and when she has all kinds of health problems, are you going to come look after her? I mean, our decisions also have to take into consideration the people around us, don't they? He got upset. That's why when they organized all this thing to take me to the police station, the police asked me, did your family talk to you before they brought you here? I said, no. He's like, they have been talking to us for a long time. We coordinated everything with them. I said, nobody even had the courtesy to talk to me before we went to the station. I mean, it's sad. it's sad to be treated so disrespectfully. Because when I was reporting what was happening to the police, I used to ask my mother. I used to ask her over and over. They're saying it's Anita. Did you ask Anita? Is it her? I used to call and leave messages for her saying, Anita, did you hear anything? People are saying this is you. And I never got a call back. So I was completely blindsided. And it devastated me. But thank God I've had my faith. I've had my music, I've had my volunteering with the One campaign, even when I left them for a while, because I was very hurt by what Bono did, not coming to have that final event with us, to meet with us, to have us there on his book tour. I told Stuart Hickox, I said, I can't do it. I said, I just don't feel right. I mean, his tickets are over 3,000. I went in the queue to buy a ticket to go see him when he did his book tour. And I got to the place where you can buy it, and then they kicked me out. And then by the time I went back, the tickets were over 3,000. I was like, forget it. I told him, I said, I just feel like I'm being a hypocrite by carrying on volunteering in the One campaign when this is what is happening. So I stepped back for a while, and once I got my job and things stabilized for me, maybe I'm not earning the $40 an hour I was earning before, but at least I have an income, and I feel better about myself. I'm doing something, I'm productive. Then I went back, and it wasn't that long anyway. And they also had a breakdown in the leadership. We didn't have somebody leading the Toronto part for a long time. So I guess that we have to weigh the pros and cons. I didn't have to go back to help them. It's also helping Najiba, because those of us who have been there a long time can tell her what the other people did, how we ran things, about our Facebook page, how we implemented things, how we got support from the Conservatives as well as the NDP and the Liberal government. And Stephen Harper did a lot more than what Justin Trudeau has done. Stephen Harper did all the heavy lifting for us, not as part of One, but in terms of childcare and maternal health. He did a lot. This One campaign is very new in Canada. It's not that old, just about 7 years. So that's, where I am at right now, but it's not, this country is not easy to adjust to. I mean, the church, I'm very fortunate. They always invite, they always try to get me involved. Even Father Larry, he was very good when I joined. And lots of people say our parish is very friendly, very welcoming. So I've tried to help others along the way, but I'm frustrated because I see people that do no work. They sit around the whole day, they spend the time on their phones, they're chatting to people, and they're getting all the breaks, they're getting all the promotions, and here I am sitting here. So, I mean, now even if I get an opportunity in Africa, I'll take it and I'll go. I know my cousins say, no, you must stay here, it's better here. But if I'm going to land up living in a tent or living on welfare, and there's an opportunity that comes up to work with the African leaders, why would I stay here? I mean, I also need to earn money. And, at home we had big houses. We had beautiful big houses with lovely lawns in the front. At the back we had our vegetable gardens, our fruit trees. I mean, if I can get that and I can go, I'm not going to stay here. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm over 50 now. I'm not young anymore. Wherever it is that I get that opportunity, whether it's in Africa or Switzerland or England, I'll take it and I'll go, because I don't like sitting around doing nothing and being unproductive and sponging off the country. Even to apply for that EI, I hated to do it. When they let me go from TD, they told me, oh, you have to apply for this EI. I was like, what is EI? I hated it. I hate sitting around doing nothing when I'm such a good worker and I'm intelligent and I'm a graduate and I'm a trained executive assistant. I hate it. I don't know how other people can do it. Just sit around, do nothing. The days go by, the years go by, still in the same place. I mean, things are not getting better. There's not just me. Even if you look at Pierre Poilievre's page, if you look on YouTube, there's a lot of people posting videos about how they're disappointed with Canada and they're leaving. They're going back to India, to Europe, to wherever they came from. Some of them want to be closer to their families. I also wanted to be close to family, but I was like, forget it. It's always me going to America. It's always me making the effort to go see my uncles, to pick up the phone, to keep in touch with my cousins. I was like, forget it. That love that I had for them, I kept it throughout my life. But if they can't be bothered to come and spend the time and make the time, I'm not going to bother anymore. And that's just the point it reached to. And my aunt knows, my godmother knows, even all those calls that they put through, it affected my ears. It affected my health. I mean, you don't expect to come to the global north and then deal with people, most of the time educated people, because most people go to school in America and Canada, and be abused on the phones and shouted at and treated very, very badly. I mean, people masturbate on the phones when they call us. And they tell us, they say, I'm almost done, stay on the line. I'm like, excuse me, what are you doing? And some of them are lesbian, some of them are not heterosexual. So that's another big issue you have to deal with. I mean, it's disgusting how we get treated. We are in professional jobs. We shouldn't have to deal with that. And then they're like, oh no, you must try to empathize, put yourselves in their shoes. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't know what empathy you want me to have, but the way I grew up in Africa, we don't do that to people. When you're calling, you need help with something, you don't abuse them, shout at them, swear at them, say fuck you, call them a bitch. Tell them, I don't think you understand. Tell them, go back to India. You sound like you have an Indian voice. Some of them are very nice, but the majority of them are not. It's really disheartening. That's what I can say. It's very disheartening. And we even had Liberal MPs that they had put photos of themselves naked. From the MPs, from the parliament. This Liberal government. I mean, who wants to know their business? If they're having sex in the office or whatever, who wants to know? Not us. We don't want to know. If they want to do their dirty business or whatever, they must do it and not boast about it on social media. Canada's an embarrassment. Even before we had Doug Ford, we had his brother there was a big drug problem with him. It's an embarrassment. They talk about our political leaders from Africa. Oh, what about them? What about what they do? I mean, really and truly, that's why now I'm reaching out. I'm doing what I did for WITS for myself. I reached out to WITS already many times to tell them that I have this, I can do speaking engagements, I'm willing to help with training and development. Because I reached out to places here and I got no positive response. So if I can do something to help the young people in Africa, why not? I'll do it. Because I've had enough. I don't want to waste the rest of my life sitting around being a bum, not working, not using my education, not being able to come up and earn a good salary. That's not what I want for my life. And that's not what I worked for. I mean, I haven't got that many working years left. I want to get into a good paying job and I want to do what I want to do now. I've always put the family first. And you can ask anyone. You can ask my sister, my mother, my brother. Whenever there was a family gathering, if I knew about it, I would take the time off, I would go. If I couldn't get there, I would ask, can you help me? Like, can you meet me at the GO station if I come? If they didn't respond, then I didn't go. But at least I can leave Canada with a clear conscience if I have to leave. Because I'm tired of living like this. Nobody wants to come to a country and then do everything right and have everything turn sour and eat sour grapes. That's not what I studied for. And U of T had the worst reputation when it came to racism. It's part of their history in this country. I did so much to build bridges, to mend things, and that's what they turn around and did. And they hurt Wits. They hurt them. And Wits won't forget. People know who I am. Even if I join the Zoom calls and things, when Wits has things on, I try to join. They tell them, she's here, she joined now, let's start. So I'm not a nobody. People know who I am.